welcome to another episode of What's the Rumpus. I'm Adrian Hanna.
I'm Charles Thomas.
And this is the new What's the Rumpus.
Yeah, we, about a month ago, right before we went on hiatus, we decided, after a long talk over a really good cigar, or I guess two really good cigars,
Yeah.
we weren't like passing it back and forth, that's weird, that we needed to mix up the format a little bit because it had gotten a little stale.
Like old bread.
Yeah, like we both really enjoyed still doing this, but it like got to a point where it was more like a job than something that was fun. And that conversation, like it was a really good conversation and sort of more akin to what we expected the podcast to be when we started it. And then as the years,
Yeah.
wow, as the years progressed, it sort of became more like every other podcast and less interesting, I think. I mean, we've talked about interesting stuff, but it was basically one of us reading a story to the other, and that was pretty much it. It wasn't like an actual conversation anymore. So now we're in the same place, sitting next to each other, staring into space.
This is all Photoshop or Adobe magic right here. Blue screen.
Fuck you.
I can tell from the pixels. Yeah, and what I thought was really interesting about that conversation was that conversation over cigars was really ultimately what we ended up deciding we wanted to do.
Yeah.
The podcast is like this is great, but without actually saying this is great, this is what we should do. We were sitting there smoking cigars and just chewing the fat, so to speak, and saying, well, we should do something more freeform and like just hang out and do. Just like talk about whatever's interesting to us and just whatever's relevant at the time.
And then eventually, after about 45 minutes, it dawned on us that that was exactly what we were already doing.
Yeah.
And true story, we're going to smoke cigars at the same place again on Monday. Today is Saturday, the something of February.
It's like the 16th? Yeah, because today was payday.
Yeah.
And we're going to go smoke on 18th, which is
President's Day. President's Day cigar smoke. Maybe after we get to know that lady well enough, we can actually do a podcast in the shop. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
Maybe we'll get our first sponsor. Finally.
Yeah. So, we briefly started talking about this earlier, but we're both doing the Slow Carb Diet a la
I think you can tell.
Tim Ferriss. So we have a lot of the same eating habits, as in we eat at the exact same place for lunch 4 out of 5 work days a week.
Yeah, we also work together, which means that we're like, oh, it's lunchtime. We're both going to go to the same place and eat the same thing because we're both on the same diet and starting from the same location.
Yeah. So it was, it's been interesting working on that, but I was telling him that I think that I've discovered that my calorie intake may not be as up as I thought it was, because anytime I go out drinking now, like, and not just like drinking a beer or two, because that doesn't really have
every time
much
you go out drunking.
Yeah, every time I go out, commence to jiggling.
Yeah.
I end up waking up the next morning after a significantly less amount of time sleeping, because I usually sleep like 8 hours ish.
Right.
And then I'll wake up after like 5 hours and I'll be like, well, I'm awake now, time to go start my day. And like 5 minutes later, I'm like, oh my God, I feel so good this morning. I should not be feeling this well after having drank all the beers last night.
Right.
And that's happened to me probably 5 or 6 times now. Every time I really tie one on, I wake up the next morning feeling absolutely fantastic. And
quick question. Are you sure you're not just still drunk?
Yes, I'm positive that I'm not still drunk.
Because I've definitely had that feeling before.
Oh, yeah.
And on my way to work, I'm like, whoa, spinny. Okay, not cool.
Yeah, I've definitely experienced that before too, and
You know the difference?
Yeah, it's definitely because it's not like after a while I start to get hungover and feel like crap, like you do
You just
when
feel
you get
good.
drunk. Yeah, I just feel good for the rest of the day. Yeah.
Who was it? Sinatra that said he feels sorry for people who don't drink because when they wake up, it's the best they're going to feel all day.
Yep.
That doesn't seem to fit with your theory.
Nope.
Must be Sinatra was already getting enough calories to begin with.
Yeah. So it's just, and it's. I just have been feeling, especially over the last few weeks, I've been feeling kind of like run down. Not like all the time, but like definitely leading up to the weekend, I start feeling more and more run down. And I just thought it was just because, you know, during the week I have a set schedule of things that I do, and then on the weekend I just do whatever the fuck I want.
Now I'm like, you thought it was stress, but now you think it might be something else.
Yeah, now I'm realizing that it's probably what it was leading away from cheat day. I would get less, or I would get more and more run down because of...
You were running out of food stores?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mentioned I've been having this weird problem where I think it might be a blood sugar issue. I'm not really sure, but every now and then I get like just a feeling of, oh God, I can't move, don't want to do anything. And I think it usually happens like towards the end of the night, and especially this week, because I don't know how this happened, but I started going to Chopped after work for dinner. It was a salad place near the office. And I did it like 3 or 4 times this week, and then by the time I got home, I'm just like, I'm really hungry and I feel really shitty. And I think it's just like I wasn't putting real food, well, I mean it was real food, but it was like rabbit food. Just like jamming rabbit food into my mouth and then thinking it's enough to feed me, and it's not.
I've really been disappointed with Chopped lately. I mean, well, first couple of times I ever went there, totally worth paying for a $10 salad. Now, for anybody who's never been to Chopped, they basically give you a bowl that's like this of salad, but it's not like oh, let's put some lettuce in there and then a bunch of crap and toss it or whatever. No, they take a bowl full of lettuce and then they heap a bunch of crap on top of it, and then they dump it out onto a tray and chop it up with these big blade things into little bitty pieces.
It's like a two-handed pizza cutter.
Yeah, and then they throw it in a bowl, toss it with some salad dressing, and put it back in your bowl. So you do literally have a bowl like this.
You get a pretty dense...
It's super dense. It should be super dense, but what's been happening lately that I've seen is I get less and less food. So it's like you're still paying $10 for the salad, but you just end up with less food.
I noticed that the first time I went, because we went for lunch last week, and I was really disappointed. And then, I don't remember why, but this is like Monday or Tuesday, I was like, I need to eat some food, and I need to do something quickly, so I just went. And it was like super dense. Like, I finished eating it and I was full. And I think it's just whoever the guy is that happens to be jamming the lettuce in, like during the lunch shift, is just not putting as much crap in as the guy that's working the night shift.
Sure. Well, we've had the same kind of situation with the hummus and pita company before, where you'd show up and it's like it's a crap show.
Great, this guy's on. That means I'm not going to get any food.
Yeah, so you get barely half a plate of food, or you go in on most days because they know us there because we eat there 4 days a week, and you get a crap ton of food that you almost can't finish it. Yeah,
like if you get the right guy, you get a whole lamb. Like you just like cut the lamb's throat and put it in your plate, and if you get the wrong guy, it's like a strip of meat and then like a leaf of lettuce, and then you're done.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm just envisioning them when you order a gyro ball. He turns around and just grabs the meat off of the rotisserie.
It's just like slides the whole thing in. Yeah. Only in my dreams.
That would be a good gyro ball.
Yeah.
Do you want anything else? Too bad, we can't fit it. It's like when Patrick used to go to Sunak and get a pound of meat for lunch.
Yeah.
But I'm really disappointed because I mean, like, I just have this expectation of paying $10 for lunch.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, especially around here, you know, that's you're limited in what you can do for a $10 budget for lunch. And there's places like Dogmatic. I've gone to Dogmatic before, and it costs less than $10. But it's unless you get more than $10 worth of food.
Yeah,
it's not going to fill you up.
Yeah, Dogmatic is like a light snack.
Yeah.
Not a lunch. They give you like a bowl of macaroni and cheese that's like the size of a tablespoon, and a hot dog that's super thin and not very good.
But it's all gourmet and locally grown, organic.
I don't care how gourmet and locally grown it is if it doesn't taste good.
Yeah. Well, tastes good. It's just that there's not enough of it.
Oh, bread doesn't. Anyway. Yeah, so you mentioned that, back to this whole not enough calories thing, you mentioned that in the morning you have a muscle milk and that's all you do for breakfast.
Oh yeah, so I because I've been trying to what I was looking at was how to basically how to minimize.
Keeping my hand by my face while I'm in the shot. It's like, yeah, so this really interesting thing happened the other day and I'm going to talk about it, but you're not going to have any idea what I'm talking about.
You have no idea who I am. We are anonymous. Dude, I can do that in post. You're really not worried about that. Yeah, so what I was really looking at was like in the slow carb diet, he says that the most important part about your breakfast is that you get at least 30 grams of protein within 30 minutes of waking up.
Right.
Because if you do that, you will not have really any cravings until lunchtime, until you actually get hungry. So I was trying to figure out how to do that to be honest with you, in the most lazy way possible, because I don't want to
behind that.
Yeah, I mean, like the meal example that he gives for breakfast is scrambled eggs and fried spinach and beans. I think is what it is, and it's really easy to make, and especially if you watch his YouTube video, which is like his most viewed YouTube video that he.
Oh really?
He made it before he even published the 4-Hour Workweek, I think.
Oh wow.
It's an old video, but it's him showing how to make this stuff, and dude, you break a cut of like 3 eggs into a plastic bowl, put it in the microwave, pull out the frozen spinach from the freezer, break off a hunk of it, put it in a plastic bowl, put it in the microwave.
Yeah.
Get out your beans, open up a can of beans, pour some into a microwavable bowl, and microwave it. And then you stir it all together at the end. And it takes like 3 minutes to make the whole thing with minimal effort. But what I was finding was that it was more effort than I wanted to put into breakfast. So it's like, I'll just do a protein shake in the morning. Just have a muscle milk that's got plenty of grams of protein in it. And I'll just do that, and I can grab that on my way out the door and be done with it and throw it away before I get on the subway, and it's a perfect breakfast. Well, the problem is it's like 120 calories, and that's all. And because it has so much protein in it, I'm not craving anything until lunchtime.
But you're not actually getting any calories.
Right. So I end up every day hitting. I'm supposed to have like on average you're supposed to have like 2,000 calories based on, and there's different variances based on weight and what you do and all that crap. But basically you're supposed to get like 2,000 calories. I'm getting like barely 1,000.
Jesus Christ.
And it's like, and I'm always like, oh well, I must be miscalculating what I'm eating when I'm paying attention to what calories I'm having. I'm like, I must be miscalculating how much food I'm eating or this or that, whatever. And it's like, well, now that I'm getting this whole, every time I go out drinking and ingesting hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of calories of
there's a pork chop in every glass.
I'm realizing that I might actually be detrimental to myself with my caloric intake, which is interesting. So the reason I thought this might be worth talking about on the podcast is because I actually have a muscle milk every day for breakfast too. My morning routine is like wake up, pretend that the world doesn't exist so I don't have to get out of bed for about a half an hour to 45 minutes and browse Reddit on my phone, and then plug my phone back into charge and finally get out of bed and exercise and then have a muscle milk. But then after I get to work, I go to the deli across the street and I get an omelet. And they fucking make good omelets. Like I get spinach, ham, cheese, and onions. And I eat that, and I'm like stuffed. And then hummus and pita for lunch, and then chopped for dinner. And so, like, I think my problem might be I'm like overdoing it in the morning and not doing enough at night or something. I don't know. But yeah, it's like because if you use Subscribe and Save, it's like less than $1.50 for a breakfast worth of muscle milk, and then like $4 for an omelet across the street. I mean, that's the cheapest meal of my day. Yeah.
I'm sure it would be cheaper if I made it myself, but I don't have that kind of time. And I don't have a kitchen that's cooking friendly, which is fucking retarded, but it's Manhattan, so what are you going to do?
Yeah. didn't realize the omelets were that cheap over there. I might have to start eating.
Yeah, and I don't know how they do the price, but I started out not getting onions, and then I added those in later, and the price didn't change, and it's like $4. So you might be able to just like
get
peppers, onions, meat, like a cow, the kitchen sink.
Yeah.
And it's $4.
Yeah. Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking about forcing myself to go back to making myself eggs and spinach and beans in the morning.
The other thing is like the other thing I like about that is you're still getting the requirement that you should eat within an hour of waking, because you're having the muscle milk. But then because it takes me like between the time I have the muscle milk and the time I get into work, at least an hour after that has passed, and so I'm still hitting the requirement, but I'm also still getting a real breakfast, and I don't have to cook anything. I just have to make a trip to the fridge and pull the cold bottle out of the thing.
Word.
Yeah. Let's see if there's anything else I have to talk about. Something that I was really interested in. Oh yeah. So I don't know if you've heard about this, but HP and Palm somehow teamed up for I don't actually understand exactly what's going on here, but apparently HP and Palm are involved in an app for measuring the size of your penis. The reason I found out about this is because they called it the Chubby Checker. And the guy who wrote the song Do the Twist used the stage name Chubby Checker. So now he's suing HP and Palm because they made an app about penises and used his name.
I would sue them too.
Yeah. Oh, that makes me happy. What's this?
That was definitely a real life D colon face.
Yeah. I don't know why HP and Palm made a dick app. Maybe it was just in the Palm store or something, the WebOS store. I don't know. What's this guy? Ernest Evans is Chubby Checker's real name.
I can see why he changed
Oh yeah,
his
it's a WebOS app. You can see why he changed his name to Chubby Checker.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's totally not. Yeah, HP and Palm were only. Yeah, they were not the developers.
Developers. That's so weird. Why? I can't even begin to fathom this app. I mean,
it looks like. I'm looking at a screenshot right now, and not of a penis, a screenshot of the app. And it says the chubby size. The chubby size is based on shoe size to chubby size conversion. The chubby size is 4.25 inches. So I guess you put in your shoe size and it tells you the average size of a penis according to that shoe size.
Well, at least it's not, judging the size by taking a picture of your donger.
Yeah. Also, you put in your region. So apparently, depending on your shoe size and your region, determines what your ideal donger size is.
I was also sadly envisioning having to whip it out and lay it on top of the phone. And the phone is just like, yep, that's 4.2 inches.
Yeah.
Now you got to talk on this thing, sucker. My phone's all salty.
Aww.
Oh man.
Yeah. Also, the price is 99 cents for this app.
Who would pay for that?
Wait a minute, and it's marketed to women?
What?
The description says, any of you ladies out there just start seeing someone new and wondering what the size of their member is. They're spelled wrong. All you need to do is find out the man's shoe size and plug it in, and don't worry where you're from. You're spelled wrong. Because the Chubby Checker supports shoe measurements of different regions and types. Now with the Chubby Checker, there is no need for disappointment or surprise.
Wow. So they're not even using like statistical regional data. They're just, you put in the region so that you can, it gives you the appropriate shoe size to enter.
Yeah. That is dumb.
That's super dumb. I'm sorry, but any app that has spelling mistakes,
Yeah.
multiple spelling mistakes,
Yeah.
has fouls.
Yeah. I was just thinking of 30 Rock with the game show homonyms.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Nope, the other one.
That was so funny. Alright. Let's see if I have any of the other. Oh! Domino's accepts Bitcoins now.
Say what?
Yeah, this is awesome. Domino's can now be used to pay for... What? Bitcoins can now be used to pay for Domino's pizza.
And that's like globally. That's like any Domino's franchise.
I think so, yeah.
Must be like through the website, I would imagine.
Probably. I don't know how you would even go into a store and use Bitcoins anyway.
You give them an address, or you go into your Bitcoin wallet and you send money to a specified address. There was a restaurant in Manhattan a few years back that used to accept Bitcoins.
Really?
Yeah, and
That's interesting.
so what they did is they had a big sign on the wall that said, "Yes, we accept Bitcoins," and then it had the hexadecimal address to send your money to.
Oh,
So then you would go in and you would say, and you would eat your meal, and then you would go on and say, okay, give this much money, this big of a transaction to this address, and then I guess you would show the waitress your proof of the transaction or whatever, and then they would.
That's interesting.
So
I'm on Domino's website trying to find information on the Bitmap thing, and I found a link called About Pizza. Apparently, there are people who don't know what pizza is. Because when you click it, the first section is pizza. Pizza is an amazingly popular food. In the U.S. alone, pizza is a $35 billion a year industry. There are over 69,000 pizzerias in the U.S. selling approximately 350 slices of pizza per second. To put it in perspective, that's 3 billion pizzas sold each year, with the average American eating 46 slices.
I'd buy that.
I'd buy that for $1.
I also who doesn't know what pizza is?
I don't know, but I feel very bad for them.
Yeah, that's okay. Let me rephrase that. Who doesn't know what pizza is, but has
knows
the
the
internet?
Domino's website? Yeah.
Or even just has the internet.
Yeah.
I mean, I could understand
Or
like some
a TV or a newspaper.
some
like
lost civilization in the Amazon.
Yeah.
Not knowing what pizza was.
Right.
But like.
It's like some dude on his Rumspringa is like, man, I've heard good things about this pizza character.
Yeah. I need to do research.
Yeah.
Oh, you want to find out about pizza? You should go to the Domino's.com.
I wonder what happens if you Google pizza.
Domino's is the first thing.
Domino's is the first thing. Actually, that might be because I was on it. Let's do it in porn mode. See if I get a different result. I do with Pizza Hut.
I like Pizza Steve.
I'm gonna put it in my wallet. Yeah, it's just a bunch of quick pizza joints. Maybe images?
That pizza is smiling.
Yeah, it is. I want to eat all of this food right now.
Did you know there's /r/pizza?
I didn't know that, but I'm not at all surprised. Is it actually about pizza, or is it something weird?
No, it's all pizza. It's mostly pictures of homemade pizzas. People are like, check out my pizza that I just made. This is my first time. This is homemade dough and fresh mozzarella and all of this other stuff.
Wow, this is ridiculous. I don't know why, but when you said that r/pizza existed, I just imagined it being some sort of weird space sticks offshoot.
Space dicks. Space dicks.
From space. This is actually really cool. I don't know if you heard about this. I think I saw it on Hacker News. A dude decided to open source his house
Interesting.
So by that, so I've seen a lot of really weird GitHub repositories. Like one dude had one that was called like Life or something like that, and he had like a file called Beliefs, and it was basically like a manifesto about his political and religious and other ethical belief system. And then he had like a text file about work and a text file about his family or something. And then he actually had 23andMe sequence his DNA and put that in the repo, so it was public. He open sourced his DNA. This guy, I think he started using it just for an issue tracker. So GitHub actually has an issue tracker built into it for bug fixes and stuff, or improvements. And so this guy started using the tracker for problems in and around his house. But then anytime he can, he uses his 3D printer to fix stuff, and then he puts the printer schematic stuff. I don't know exactly how that works, into his repo. So like the one that I remember, it's been quite a while. Yeah, I haven't looked at this since last month, but the example I remember is he had these rugs that were fairly old, and they were like curling in the corners, kind of like a shirt collar, like just curls up after a while. And his fix was to 3D print this thin plastic right angle and sew it into the back of the rug so that it wouldn't bend anymore because the plastic was holding it in place. And so he just put the schematic for that into his GitHub repo. Maybe open the page and see if
that's a really brilliant idea.
Yeah, it's really cool. Let me find this guy's name and the repo name. Yeah, I saw it on Wired. Well, that's where the article was. I think I found it on Hacker News. But it's called This Old Open Source House. Cat's name is Mark Wainwright. And his username is Frabcus. Farbcus. Let's see. Yeah, here's the.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. Some other stuff in here. Yeah, like so some of his bug reports: noisy radiator, problem with the doorknob, funny smell in the kitchen. It's like, man, I should fix this, but I'm not going to remember if I don't write it down somewhere. I know. This is really interesting. He's got he's got 4 posts about this bug fix. So, smell in kitchen when bathroom sink run. Used drain cleaner and it got rid of it for a month, but it's back a little bit. Checked the U-bends in the drains. That didn't fix it. Cleaned out the drain by hand. Now I suspect the bathroom plumbing, gray water. Drain cleaner in the shower and sink and bathroom definitely fixed this for a month or 2. Needs new plumbing with pipes that eject water properly. So there's no fix for this one because you can't 3D print a fix, but
right.
That's really interesting. Yeah.
I've heard of people using like RT for to-do lists like
oh,
that.
Really?
Yeah.
That seems like a lot of overhead to set up just to track your to-do list, though.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like it's for shit like that where you have, you have an issue, and it's okay, this is something that I need to do, but here's information about it. Here's more information about it. Okay, I think I fixed it. Oh nope, I didn't fix it, so I'm going to reopen it. And now I still have all of that history about this issue.
Right. That's fair.
Yeah.
Here's one. Add blinds to living room. Wooden slatted ones, only inexpensive custom-sized ones seem to be from IKEA. That's the original issue, and then he's got a picture of the ones he ended up buying after mounting them, and then he closed the issue.
That's
I'm looking for
pretty
another.
handy.
Yeah.
Because if they break, then you can 3D print a new part for it.
But well, and also he can. It shows exactly where he bought them from. So
right.
If one breaks, he knows exactly where to go to figure out how to remember where they came from. This is really interesting. I think this is really interesting. Unfortunately, I have no earthly idea how. Oh, okay. There's a new programming language called ALB, A-L-B.
Okay.
which is Arabic for heart. And it's a fully functional programming language based on Arabic script. So an interesting problem in programming, most of the programming world developed in English-speaking countries. And so if you want to write code, you have to learn at least a little bit of English, because if you don't, one of the most basic concepts in programming is if-then, meaning if something happens, then execute some piece of code, right? But if you don't understand what the word if and the word then mean, it's much more saying if-then is it's like a natural part of English speech and something that happens outside of programming. But if you don't speak that language natively, then it's just some weird abstract concept, and it's much harder to fathom exactly what it means, because you don't have the inherent implications of those words. And I can only imagine that it's even worse in languages with for example, Arabic doesn't even write left to right. They write right to left. I think China, does Chinese do that?
Chinese and Japanese both do. They do right to left, but it's top to bottom first. So they actually go in columns instead of rows.
Oh, okay.
So we write in rows, and Arabic is written in rows, right to left. But Chinese and Japanese at least are written top to bottom.
Top to right to left. And right to left.
Yeah.
So it's totally fucked.
Yeah.
So just imagine trying to write a program where it's backwards. Just every line is inverted from what you expect it to be. That's sort of breaking my brain just trying to imagine it without having to know another language.
Right.
And so, the sentence structure is backwards, and you don't know the words, and you're trying to learn something. It's fucking impossible.
Yeah. I give props to every non-English speaking programmer out there.
Caught smoking, double choking, linger on my spleen. I'm dying to find some time. Newspaper conservation, can't believe this election, can't believe these words are true. Oh, never lost clear, it seems that the words escape out of state. That's not really true.